Welcome to Designing Spaces Think Green, a special edition of the show that's all about you and your space, your home and your surroundings. I'm Ted Brunson. Home and surroundings, the environment. Today all of us are becoming increasingly aware of how we affect the environment. The air we breathe, the water so necessary for life, and the energy required to power our civilizations are all being affected by humanity's demands on what Mother Earth can give us. Indeed, we all need to consider the environment a part of our health, economy, and community, all working together for what we call the green lifestyle. Reduce, reuse, recycle, and respect. We at Designing Spaces feel it's time all of us take care of our home, the ultimate living space, planet Earth. On today's show, we have a great lineup of topics to help you and your family live a more eco-friendly lifestyle. So let's get started and think green. Energy is increasing in demand, and of course, the supply of fossil fuels is not increasing proportionally. So, alternate forms of energy are needed to solve this problem. Now, here's one solution that's also working towards environmental stewardship. Debbie Marie reports from St. Lucie County, Florida.
The demand for electricity is on the increase, but in today's world, concern over the environmental impact of power plants is serious. Nuclear energy is one carbon-free option that has been endorsed by scientific and environmental organizations in the U.S. and globally. But there's more than the reduction of greenhouse gases that is generating support for nuclear power. Nuclear plants are excellent environmental stewards, and all 104 U.S. plants feature a variety of ecological programs. We're here at Florida Power & Light's St. Lucie Nuclear Power Plant, and joining us today is Scott Peterson and Winifred Perkins. Welcome to Designing Spaces Think Green.
Thank you.
Now we have a lot we're going to cover here today, aren't we?
We sure are.
Okay. And we are going to talk about some environmental issues.
Right. After you get done in here, I thought it'd be interesting for some of your viewers to see what we do out on the beach and the whole area where all of the sea turtles nest in the summer, and just a lot of really exciting things out there.
That sounds good. I look forward to it. So we'll see you in a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Sounds good. Before we get into talking about the protection of the environment and the endangered species, let's talk about nuclear power itself.
Sure.
How much electricity does the U.S. use that comes from nuclear power?
As a country, we have 104 reactors that generate 20% of our electricity across the country, so it's a significant part of our energy portfolio.
Right.
Today, it's 75% of our carbon-free electricity production, so in a world where we're not only worried about meeting future electricity demand, but also protecting our planet from greenhouse gases and air pollution, nuclear power should be part of our portfolio approach to that. The industry is looking at building 26 to 30 new nuclear power plants in 14 different states, including Florida.
Now, in building new reactors, is that economical in today's world?
Well, we believe it is. We've done a lot of analysis, not only on the designs, but looking at whether they can compete in the marketplace against other sources. That's something you obviously have to do.
Yeah.
And our analysis from many companies shows that nuclear is going to be competitive with coal, with natural gas, and even with renewables. The reason is because nuclear power plants are very big producers of electricity by scale, and the cost of uranium fuel is a very stable cost fuel, unlike natural gas or other fuels, and we have a long-term supply of it. So between the large-scale power production and the low cost of uranium, it will be competitive for typically 6 decades as long as those plants are operating. In fact, here in Florida, since 2001, Florida Power and Light customers have saved $8.7 billion in fuel costs just because nuclear power has been part of their electricity generation.
That's incredible.
So it's a significant cost savings to customers.
And I'm thinking more jobs too, which that's a great benefit.
Right. We're going to be building new nuclear power plants, probably beginning construction in the next 2 or 3 years. Each one of those plants will have 1,400 to 1,700 construction jobs at them.
Wow.
Highly skilled craftsmen,
Right.
good paying jobs. And when they operate, we'll have 400 to 700 jobs in operating the plant. People like Chris and Ron, who are here in the control room, testing their skills in terms of operating in this simulator fashion.
Now, let me ask you, I'm sure this is a concern for many, the disposal of nuclear waste. What is the safety standard?
Well, we meet the safety standard, which is set by the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission, and that's today to store that fuel on site. Technically, we know how to do that in canisters. We keep it protected from the environment and from our workers. The Department of Energy, by law, has responsibility for the long-term disposal of that, and it is looking at building a site in the Nevada desert to take that fuel in a specially designed facility.
Okay.
When you look at the safety of operating plants, that's another concern that people have. But I think if you look at our commitment to safety as an industry, you look at the kind of training that people like Chris and Ron go through on a regular basis, to meet that commitment to safety, it's unmatched really in the industrial sector. We have among the lowest worker accident rates as measured by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and so we feel very comfortable but still committed to operating our facilities safely.
And you're also committed to the environment as well, and I think we're going to go ahead and meet up with Winifred, and she's out on the beach,
You're going to hear some great stories about environmental protection from her.
I look forward to it. Let's go. So, Winifred, you have a long history in environmental stewardship.
I do. I've worked in this area for over 30 years, and 25 of those years have been with Florida Power and Light Company, where I've worked on a whole host of different things, from endangered species programs to renewable energy. I've done a lot of work on water management and water conservation, so really a very broad background.
And here, this beautiful beach that we have here. Now, this is protected, and this is where sea turtles, they actually nest here.
Yes.
Many people probably don't realize that the land surrounding the plant has so many benefits.
It does. It does. Well, you mentioned the beach. I mean, Florida Power and Light Company owns and manages this 2.5-mile stretch of beach, which is one of the most important sea turtle nesting habitats in the entire country. But then there are other attributes. I mean, we have this mangrove area over here to the west, which is so important for wildlife and birds and fish and even the beginnings of life, as we call it, with the mangrove detritus. So all of this in conjunction with the overall arching protection that is afforded to this land because of the presence of the nuclear power plant makes it an ideal spot for protecting all sorts of diminishing resources here in Florida.
Exactly.
This coastal environment is so important.
Well, Scott, Winifred, thank you so much for being on Think Green and allowing us here today. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you for coming.
Well, at the St. Lucie Nuclear Power Plant, I'm Debbie Marie on Designing Spaces, Think Green.
So what do we want to leave behind for future generations? Will it be the gift of preservation or the debt of a careless society destructing our planet's ecosystem? We have a choice, and it's a choice like no other in the history of humankind. For Designing Spaces Think Green, I'm Ted Brunson.
You can visit these websites to learn more about the participants on this edition of Designing Spaces.